Text: Epistle of James 4:13 to 17. The passage opens with a summons to hear. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a. The voice addresses those who speak confidently about the unfolding of time, arranging their future as though it were fully within their grasp. The language is not merely about commerce, but about presumption, about a mindset that treats the future as a settled possession. The next line reframes that presumption. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? The question is rhetorical, pressing the hearer to consider the fleeting and contingent nature of human existence within the age then present. For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. The imagery is deliberate. Life under that covenantal order is described as vapor, visible briefly and then dissipating. It reflects the transitory character of that age as it stood on the brink of its consummation. Instead of presumptuous declarations, the text states, "You ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that." This is not merely a call to pious phrasing, but a reorientation of perspective. The unfolding of events is not anchored in human determination, but in the will of the Lord, who was bringing his redemptive plan to its appointed fulfillment. The nearness of that fulfillment frames the entire exhortation. Human plans, however confident, exist within a larger divine purpose that was rapidly reaching its climax. The passage continues, "As it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil." The boasting here is tied to self-sufficiency within a fading order. It is not simply pride in a general sense, but a confidence rooted in a system that was passing away. The arrogance lies in acting as though one's plans stand independent of the divine timeline that was already in motion. The final verse concludes, "So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin." This statement gathers the previous thoughts into a single principle. Knowledge of what aligns with God's revealed will carries with it an accountability. In the context of that generation, the right thing is bound up with recognizing the time, the nearness of the Lord's purposes, and the proper posture in light of it. To ignore that knowledge is to stand in contradiction to what God had made evident. Throughout the passage, the emphasis rests on the contrast between human presumption and divine sovereignty within a specific historical moment. The age in which these words were written was not indefinite. It was moving toward its ordained conclusion. The language of mist, of uncertainty about tomorrow, and of the Lord's will underscores the transient nature of that covenantal world. At the same time, the text does not ground righteousness in human striving or achievement. The exposure of arrogance and presumption does not lead to a call for self-generated correction, but reveals the insufficiency of human certainty. The focus remains on the Lord's will as the decisive reality. Human boasting is set aside, not to establish a new standard of self-effort, but to highlight the contrast between human limitation and divine accomplishment. Thus, James 4:13-17 stands as a reflection on the fleeting nature of life within that age, the futility of self-assured planning, apart from God's revealed purposes, and the seriousness of knowing what aligns with His will in a time when His redemptive work was reaching its fulfillment.